All right, good morning. Thank you first to everybody for being flexible this morning with the switch around of the time of the calendar. So I certainly appreciate that. First, Mr. Tolles, what is your announcement in your two matters? I'll try and take all the private lawyers first. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. On behalf of Mr. I think Smith, I think Mr. Thomas, Mr. Thomas, he has two cases on the calendar. I also think he has a violation of probation as well. To the office, I've been in contact with Mr. McDowell. We're very close to we're just not going to be able to get it done today.
Okay.
So I'm going to plead not guilty. We want to plead not guilty. And I think I'll contact Mr. Clark and have it scheduled for some type of disposition.
Okay, great. All right, Mr. McDowell, you have no objection then for this being continued?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So Mr. Daniel Smith will be continued for you guys to be able to resolve all of that. Thank you so much. You can be excused. Deputy, he can go back. I appreciate you, Mr. Tolles. Thanks for working with us. All right, Ms. Gall, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
What's your announcement in your matter?
If we could do a big breakout room with Ms. Jansen and Ms. Stanley, I think we may be able to resolve it today.
All right. Do you need me to join that or
I think we're still kind of chatting. So right now, I think if the three of us could just chat and.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to join it. So that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You should see that invitation. All right. In the meantime, good morning, Mr. Sperling. What is your announcement in your matter?
Good morning, Your Honor. On Mr. Crane's case, me and Officer Stanley are pretty close to a resolution, but we also need a breakout room to finish our discussion.
Okay, great. As soon as she is out, then we will get started.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, that is ADA Jansen on that case as well.
Okay, great. I'll tell you what, why don't I go ahead and send you to that breakout room, Mr. Sperling, and you just hang out until they're done, if that's all right. All right, Hardiman appears to be an arraignment that we should be able to take care of this morning. So if Mr. Hardiman will come out to the podium, thank you.
Actually, Your Honor, he was released.
He was released? Okay,
and he should be on the call. He's showing up on my end as Cedric Hardiman.
Let's see. All right, Mr. Hardiman, if you'll unmute, please, sir, and unmute your video. Good morning. All right, what's the announcement, Ms. Thurman?
Your Honor, we are pleading not guilty, and he is waiving being your physical presence as well as formal arraignment.
All right, great. Thank you. Mr. Hardiman, you can be excused, sir.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. The pleas that we have scheduled, who's doing the plea on Parker and who's doing the plea on Keaton from the state side?
That would be me, Your Honor.
Oh. Okay, and that's great. And from the state side, who's doing that?
On Parker, that is Ms. Jansen. And did you meet
both of them are mine? I'm sorry, I was
Vong?
But both of them.
Parker.
Would you say Parker's yours, Ms. Blunt?
Yes, Keaton and Parker.
Keaton and Parker. All right, thank you very much. Parker can come to the podium.
One moment, he's
Parker's also going to be a VOP.
Okay, and is this going to resolve all of it?
Yes.
Yes, all the way up.
All right, good morning, sir. First, if I can get you to please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the evidence and testimony you're about to give in the matter now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may put your hand down. Sir, what is your true and correct name?
Anthony Lamont Parker.
All right, Mr. Parker, you're charged in this accusation with multiple counts. What is the state proceeding on?
The state is proceeding on Count 2, battery, family violence, and count 4, hindering emergency telephone call.
All right. Do you understand what you were charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had a chance, are you represented by Ms. Reddick as your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had a chance to speak with her concerning your rights and options in regard to this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Reddick, did you submit a plea statement?
I did, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the advice and counsel that she has given you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to the charges?
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, have you signed a document here today, or have you signed a document that indicated or gone over a document that's indicated that you intend to plead guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Reddick, did you go over this? Did you go over a plea statement with your client?
I did, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied that he fully and completely understands each matter as it applies to his case?
He does.
Do you know of any reason why I should not accept his plea?
I don't have any, Your Honor.
All right, sir, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you intend to plead?
Guilty.
Has anyone threatened you or coerced you in any manner to force you to plead guilty against your wishes?
No, ma'am.
As you stand here today, are you under the influence of any type of intoxicant?
No, ma'am.
Will the state please provide a factual basis?
Yes, Judge. If this case would have proceeded to trial, the facts would have shown that on February 24th of 2020, officers responded to a domestic disturbance at 2716 Stansfield Boulevard, located here in Clayton County. Officers made contact with the victim, Natasha, that's Natasha, last name Parker, who is the defendant's wife. The victim advised that she and the defendant had been in an altercation because the defendant was planning to go out of town without telling her. During the altercation, the defendant shoved the victim and grabbed her by her neck and choked her. The victim attempted to call 911, but the defendant slapped the phone out of her hand and began destroying their residence. The victim advised that the defendant was drunk at the time of this incident. Officers observed visible injury on the victim's elbows.
All right. Is this a negotiated plea?
Yes, Judge.
What is
Yes,
it?
Your Honor.
Okay, what are the terms?
The terms of this negotiation is 24 months probation, family violence intervention, drug and alcohol evaluation and treatment, 100 hours of community service, attorney's fees, probation fees, and a Fourth Amendment waiver. Also, Judge, the state is aware that there's to be no weapons on or around the defendant's person, but we just want to reiterate on record that he is to have no weapons near or around him.
Okay. Is that your understanding of the state's recommendation?
Also, Judge, no violent contact with Ms. Parker.
All right. Anything you wish to add on your client's behalf, Ms. Reddick?
Your Honor, I believe this incident is purely a result of him having some alcohol in the system. He is definitely working on his consumption, and I don't believe he poses any significant future threat to this young lady. So I believe that this is an appropriate sentence here.
Okay. I will accept your plea. It'll be 24 months probation, 100 hours community service, family violence intervention program, no violent contact with the victim in this case, drug and alcohol evaluation and treatment if required. You will also, I'm going to order a 4A waiver based on that alcohol. You have 1 year from today, state to file habeas corpus petition in this matter. What is the state's recommendation as it relates to the VOP?
The recommendation is to restore him back to probation on time, sir.
All right. I'll return you to the original order of probation. This will operate as a violation. In your case, 2018 CR 01944, your plea of guilty here. As a result, I will return you back to the original order of probation and release you to time served. Anything further on behalf of either party?
Not from me, Judge.
Anything from you, Ms. Reddick? I believe you're muted.
No, Your Honor. Thank you, Judge.
All right, great. He can go back. Thank you, Mr. Parker.
Judge Powers,
Yes.
I want to make sure he doesn't even get signed up because he's already gone back to original probation for the new charges.
That's right. I don't know that misdemeanor probation is on the call, so if he'll just hang out for just a moment, thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Hill,
Good morning,
maybe.
Your Honor. Officer Hill is here for misdemeanor probation.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. If he'll just stick around. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what's the announcement, Ms. Scall?
Judge, I have an offer for a global resolution if I can convey it to my client.
All right, give me just a couple minutes.
Thank you, Judge.
What's the announcement in your matter, Mr. Sperling?
Yes, Your Honor, we're asking for a 2-week continuance. The
Okay.
VOP is based on new charges and additional technicals, and there's some discrepancies, so that will give us some time to gather up what we need.
Okay, and that's on Mr. Crane.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection, Ms. Jansen?
No objection from the state.
All right, it'll be continued. Mr. Crane can go. Thank you, Mr. Sperling.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just a moment. All right, Casey Wright can come out.
Right?
That's who you need to speak with, correct, Ms. Scall?
Yes, Judge.
All right, and the jail should see a breakout room invitation.
Judge Powers,
Yes, ma'am.
could you add me really quick so I can interview him for the possible resolution of the DRC before,
I
to
just
make
added
sure?
it.
Okay, thank you. And I'll leave immediately out once I interview.
In the meantime, what is the announcement, Mr. Render? I'm sorry, I didn't see you down there, in your matter.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mr. Puma Vong is ready for a plea.
Okay. And have you submitted a plea statement?
Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, the one I submitted, I guess the email sent it blank, so I did resubmit it.
Great.
Right at the beginning of the calendar, Your Honor.
All right. All right, are we ready?
We are
Yes,
ready
ma'am.
on Mr. Wright.
All right, if I can get you to please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the evidence and testimony you're about to give in the matter now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Ma'am.
All right, you may put your hand down. What is your true and correct name?
Casey Michael Wright.
Sir, you were represented by Ms. Skull. Well, first of all, what is the state proceeding on with this accusation? You have to unmute.
Your Honor, this state is proceeding on only count 1, possession of methamphetamine.
All right, so you're charged in count 1 with possession of methamphetamine. Do you understand what you were charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you represented by Ms. Skull as your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had an opportunity to discuss this charge with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Has she taken the time and opportunity to counsel you and advise you concerning your rights and options with respect to this charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the advice and counsel that she has given you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to this charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you indicated that you intend to plead guilty this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Skull, did you submit a plea statement?
I did not, Judge.
Okay.
'Cause I had not had the offer.
That's all right. Do you understand that if you pled not guilty, you'd have the benefit of all the following rights: the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and cross-examine any witnesses that the state may call to testify against you, the right to use the power and process of the court to subpoena any witnesses on your behalf or to present any evidence on your behalf, the right not to testify on your own behalf, and the right to require that the state would prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you give up all those rights this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Skull, did you go over his rights with him?
I did, Judge.
Are you satisfied that he fully and completely understands each matter as it applies to his case?
I do.
Do you
I
know
am.
of any reason why I should not accept his plea?
No, Judge.
Sir, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you intend to plead?
Guilty, ma'am.
Has anyone threatened you or coerced you in any manner to force you to plead guilty against your wishes?
No, ma'am.
As you stand here today, are you under the influence of any type of intoxicant?
No, ma'am.
All right, will the state please provide a factual basis? Did we just lose Ms. Jansen?
Looks like it.
Your Honor, if you give me a moment, I can actually pull that up and take Ms. Jansen's place.
Great, thanks.
Your Honor, I do apologize. We will
Okay.
have to wait for Ms. Jansen. I don't see anything currently uploaded to give a factual basis on.
All right. Somebody mind texting her to ask her if she's trying to log back on? Thanks. All right, go ahead, Ms. Jansen. What's the factual basis?
I'm sorry, my audio must have just, everything just shut down. Can
That's
record?
fine.
Did you guys know that?
Yes, so if you'll give the factual basis.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, had this case gone to trial, the state would expect the evidence to show that on or about September 13th, 2019, at the intersection of Terra Boulevard and Battle Creek Road in Clayton County, the officers stopped the car that Casey Wright was writing in for a tag light violation. The driver of the car, Your Honor, was Miranda Forehand, who was previously before Your Honor for a plea. In the front passenger seat was Casey Wright. The officers smelled, when they were interacting with the driver, they smelled an odor of marijuana emanating from the car. They asked all of the passengers to come out. Upon speaking with Casey Wright, the officers, he told the officers his age was wrong. He said he was 16, he's 18. He gave the wrong name, and he also tried to escape from the officers. He was found to have, hanging out of his pocket, a glass pipe, which was found to have the residue of meth in it. Also was found in the car was methamphetamine. That is what he is charged with, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Is this a negotiated plea?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
What are
Yes,
the
Judge.
terms?
Your Honor, the negotiation is 3 years to serve 1, balance probated, and that he go to DRC, probation fees, attorney fees, waiver of Fourth Amendment, search and seizure.
Okay, the 1 is, so he's going to go to DRC after the 1, or has he already been in for the 1?
He's been in for the.
Yeah, he's been in since September 13th of 2019. So the 1 is completed.
Okay. All right. Anything that you would like to add on your client's behalf?
Judge, we just would ask that you accept the recommendation. Mr. Sorry, it's one of the days. Mr. Wright has, been very diligent about this. He does recognize that he needs help. Unfortunately, because of issues with this case and his addiction issues, he's actually going to get help, but giving up a dream. Prior to this, he had been trying to meet with recruiters, so he will be losing his opportunity to go into the military, but hopefully he can get help, get back in school, and move forward.
All right. Hope so, sir. I will accept your plea. It'll be 3 years to serve 1. That 1 is commuted to time served, balance probated, with the condition you enter and successfully complete the Clayton Day Reporting Center. Attorney's fees, probation fees, you'll get the drug and alcohol evaluation there, and a Fourth Amendment waiver. Anything else, Ms. Jansen?
Just that he have his first offender revoked.
Okay. Well, in your plea in this case operates as a violation of your probation in case number 2018 CR 02752, whereupon which you'll be adjudicated guilty. What is the state's recommendation in that case?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation in that case is a concurrent sentence to what the court just sentenced the defendant to for the plea. Global resolution.
So is it a 1 and close the current case? Okay.
Yes, Judge. He
Right.
has about 15 months left, so it'll be one year and close it.
Okay.
Reduce the time served.
I will revoke 1 year, but commute that to time served and release you on that. You have 4 years from today's date to file habeas corpus in this matter. He can remain because Ms. Hardy is going to need to interview him. Thanks. I believe that's all you have, Ms. Skull. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Mr. Render, you said that Puma vong is a plea. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. He can come out.
One moment.
All right. Good morning, sir. If I can get you to please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the evidence and testimony you're about to give in the matter now pending before this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, self you God?
No.
All right. You may put your hand down, sir. What is your true and correct name?
Peter Michael Puma.
Sir, you're charged in this indictment with multiple counts. What is the state proceeding on?
The state's going to proceed on counts 1, 3, and 15.
All right. And you're charged in count 1 with criminal attempt, count 2, possession of the tools for the commission of a crime, and count 15 for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Do you understand what you were charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, just a correction. Count 3 is possession of methamphetamine.
All right, I apologize. Count 3 is possession of methamphetamine. Do you understand what you were charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you represented by Mr. Render as your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had an opportunity to discuss these charges with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Has he taken the time and opportunity to counsel you and advise you concerning your rights and options with respect to these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the advice and counsel that he has given you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to these charges?
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, have you indicated that you intend to plead guilty with the plea paperwork that has been submitted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Render, and are you satisfied that you fully and completely understand each matter as it applies to your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Render, did you go over this plea statement with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied that he fully and completely understands each matter as it applies to his case?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you know of any reason why I should not accept his plea? Mr. Render, do you know of any reason why I should not accept his plea?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
All right, sir, are you a citizen of the United States? Is that a yes?
No.
Okay. How do you intend to plead?
Guilty.
Has anyone threatened you or coerced you in any manner to force you to plead guilty against your wishes?
No, ma'am.
As you stand here today, are you under the influence of any type of intoxicant?
No, ma'am.
Will the state please provide a factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor. On August 1st, 2019, officers responded to a prowler call at 3891 Rex Road in Rex, which is located in Clayton County. A 911 caller advised that two males were attempting to break into a house at that location. Officer made contact with two males, the defendant and a Mr. Prose at that location. Both appeared extremely nervous and could not provide a reason for being at the location. Initially, the defendant gave officers a false name. Both men were briefly detained and placed under arrest for loitering and prowling. After being placed in the handcuffs, both men became agitated at each other and made statements to each other about the drugs in a bag they had with them. Officers then searched the bag and found a Ruger P345 45 caliber handgun and a magazine, two walkie-talkies, digital scales, scissors, a pair of size 9 Air Jordan shoes, large gym shorts, a metal file, flashlights, among other items. Officers determined that Mr. Prose wears size 9 shoes and appears to wear size L shorts. Further, a Georgia Department of Corrections ID belonging to Mr. Prose was in the bag. While walking the defendant to the patrol car, a Glock 23 40 caliber handgun fell out of his pants leg. Officers then conducted an inventory search of the defendant's vehicle, which yielded multiple bags of methamphetamine. Officers then searched the defendant incident to arrest and found approximately 20 various identification documents, financial transaction cards, social security cards belonging to at least 8 different individuals. The defendant could not provide any reason why he had these items. He also had several $100s in suspected counterfeit currency. A background check was conducted, which shows that the defendant was a convicted felon, having been convicted in Clayton County on June 14, 2018 for the offense of possession of methamphetamine.
Okay. Is this a negotiated plea?
Yes, it is.
What are the terms?
5 years to serve, Your Honor, to run concurrent on counts 1, 3, and 15.
Is that your understanding of the state's recommendation, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything you wish to add on your client's behalf, Mr. Render?
Your Honor, I just pray the court accepts the recommendation.
All right, sir, I'll accept your plea. It'll be 5 years to serve on each of the counts to run concurrently. That is at the same time as one another. You will have 4 years from today's date to file a habeas corpus petition in this matter. You may go back.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what's your announcement, Mr. Render, for Mr. Jefferson?
Your Honor, if I can have a brief breakout session with Mr. Jefferson. I did discuss something additional with Mr. McDowell this morning, and I would just like to communicate that to Mr. Jefferson.
Right.
It's possible.
Go ahead.
Judge Powers?
Yes.
I was going to say it's possibly a global resolution, possibly.
All right.
And Your Honor, I will say, if it is a global resolution, while there has an accusation has been drafted, but it has not yet been filed.
Okay, then how about I do this, Mr. Render? Why don't I continue this for 1 week and you'll have an opportunity to speak with him between now and next week. And then that'll give them an
Your
opportunity.
Honor, that actually works best.
All right, great. Thank you. So Mr. Jefferson will be continued.
Okay, I'll advise him. Judge Powers?
Yes.
The Puma vong, does he need to stand by any for sentencing or anything, Ms. Hardy, or he's good to go back?
He's good to go because he's not on probation. Thank you.
All right.
All right. So from the 8 o'clock calendar, Mr. Ponder, what's the announcement in Mr. Ponder matter? Ms. Thurman.
Did you say you needed Mr. Ponder?
I do.
Okay, 1 moment.
Ms. Thurman.
Your Honor, good morning, Your Honor. Excuse me. Attorney D. Williams will be handling Mr. Ponder's case.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, we had you listed.
Yes, I know, Your Honor. I was just, we did a switcheroo.
All right. What's your announcement, Ms. D. Williams?
Your Honor, I need to speak with Officer Stanley and the DA who's handling that case.
All right. Whose case is that?
That would be me, Judge.
All right.
Mr. Ponder.
Judge Powers, it returned me.
Give me just a second, Key. I'll send you again.
Okay. I'm back again.
Kia, let me try it one more time.
Okay.
Is it? Are you not seeing a breakout room invitation?
It connected me the first time, then it said the breakout room was ending in 0 seconds, and it brought me back. Then when I just went again, it was with Mr. Ponder.
All right, listen, I'm going to move you in and out, but wait for breakout room 3. Hang on.
Okay.
All right, that should work now. Try that.
Judge Powers?
Yes.
We supposed to go into breakout room 2. We were in there. No one came.
No, it's fine. I accidentally opened that one, so if you'll just stick around, thanks.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
For Mr. Ponder, we would like to work out a global resolution, and we believe we need about 2 weeks.
Okay. Does the state have any objection to continuing that matter?
No objection from the state.
All right. It'll be continued.
Thank
You can
you,
go
Your Honor.
back. Thanks.
I'm clear. Come on.
What's the announcement in Foster? Is that you, Ms. Thurman, or have you guys switched that up?
That one is me, Your Honor.
Okay.
And the announcement for that is we are stipulating to the technicals, and we want to be heard on disposition.
All right, Mr. Foster can come out.
One more now.
All right, good morning, Mr. Foster. You're here this morning for a petition for violation of your probation. You're represented by Ms. Thurman as your attorney. For the purposes of today's hearing, Ms. Thurman, is he waiving his right to be in the physical presence of the court?
He is, Your Honor.
And it's my understanding that he is stipulating to violations and that you wish to be heard on disposition. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
If the state will please place those on the record.
Yes, Judge. The defendant has violated the terms and conditions of probation in the following particulars. We are waiving criminal violations for the purposes of this hearing.
So you're withdrawing them?
Yes, Judge. Withdrawing violations. The defendant has failed to pay as ordered, and that the defendant is currently $4,321 in arrears on court-ordered monies, making his last payment of $10 on June the 30th of 2019. There's also a violation of special conditions to not operate a motor vehicle without a valid license. On May 8th of 2020, the defendant was released on time served to enter the DRC, in which he has not reported to start said program.
All right. Is that your understanding as to the stipulation as to violation?
No,
Yes,
Judge. That was the wrong one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay. We're waiving, withdrawing the criminal law violation for Mr. Foster. He's violated the terms of probation in the following particulars: failed to pay as ordered, in that the defendant is currently $1,085 in arrears on court-ordered monies. He's failed to notify probation of address change, in that on or about February 26th of 2020, a field visit was conducted to the last known address of record and was advised that the defendant no longer resided there and his whereabouts were unknown. There's a violation of special conditions to submit to HIV testing, complete alcohol, drug evaluation and treatment, and provide proof of employment. The defendant has failed to provide proof of completing any special conditions. There's also a violation of revocation hearing order to complete alcohol and drug treatment. On July the 9th of 2018, a revocation hearing was held, at which time the defendant was ordered to complete, in which he has yet to do so.
All right. Is that your understanding now, counsel, of the stipulation?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Based on the stipulation, I'll find by preponderance of the evidence he's violated his probation. What is the state's recommendation?
The state's recommendation is to revoke the balance of 7 months and 16 days and close the case.
And which number violation is this? I don't have the petition.
Judge, this is third to fourth violation of probation.
All right. Thank you. What would you like to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. I did just want to point out that my client was in a very serious motorcycle accident back in October of 2019, which left him in the trauma unit for a little over a week. After the surgery, or after he was recovering in the trauma unit, he was not able to return to his parents' address. And so the bad address was just a situation where he was not able to communicate because he was recovering. He did suffer short-term memory loss. He was actually staying with his sister, who also lives in Clayton County, but he just did not communicate that, Your Honor. So we are asking that Your Honor would grant some leniency for that. And the reason why he was unable to stay with his parents is because they had stairs and he was recovering and was not mobile at the time.
But the accident occurred in 2019. I recall Mr. Foster from 2018, though, from the revocation to complete drug treatment, correct?
Well, this is just concerning the bad address in 2020 of this year.
All right.
And then as far as failure to complete, Mr. Foster says that he actually completed the drug evaluation and treatment while he was serving time in prison. And I believe he can maybe give a little bit more detail about the services that he was provided, but he did complete those classes while he was serving time. As far as employment, Your Honor, he has not been able to maintain consistent employment One of the breaks in his employment was because of the recovery from the motorcycle accident. As of late, he has been doing carpentry work on and off, just depending on what work is available. So that's something that if he were to return to probation, he can provide proof of. He's working with a friend and they do jobs on a contract basis. So what we're asking for, Your Honor, is that you would consider the fact that he did have some very extenuating circumstances that did cause him to have these violations. He's admitting to these violations. But we're asking for either time served or in the alternative that he served 30 days for these technical violations, and that Your Honor would consider the accident that he suffered in October of 2019.
Okay. Mr. Foster, I mean, we had this discussion in 2018. I recall your parents also, I believe, attended that hearing when we went through trying to find a drug treatment program for you to take advantage of and for you to do what the court was revoking you to do and ordering you to do. So as a result, this is, I believe, now your third revocation. I'm going to revoke the balance and close the case. You can go back. What's the announcement in Atkinson?
Okay,
You can go back, sir. Thank you.
so you revoked 7 months.
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, thank you.
What's the announcement in Atkinson?
Your Honor, I received a note that the bench warrant was recalled for her or for him.
Judge, that's correct. The warrant was recalled on October 8th of this year.
Okay. All right. So Keaton can come out. I believe that's our last matter this morning, correct?
Yes, well, for me, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Thanks.
She's coming, just call.
Thanks.
Judge, are we on the 10 o'clock calendar now?
We are.
So what, Anthony Parker, is he's on the 10 o'clock as well, right? Or was that matter continued or anything?
We've already taken a plea on Mr. Parker and resolved the VOP as well while you were in a breakout room.
Oh.
The state and the defense. Thanks, Officer Stanley. I assume that they had spoken with you about that. All right. Good morning, Ms. Keaton. If I can get you to please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the evidence and testimony you're about to give in the matter now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right. You may put your hand down. What is your true and correct name?
Wanda Renee Keaton.
Ms. Keaton, you're charged in this accusation with 1 count of terroristic threat. Do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
Are you represented by Ms. Reddick as your attorney?
Yes.
Has she taken the time and opportunity to counsel and advise you concerning your rights and options with respect to this charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the advice and counsel that she has given you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she also go over a plea statement with you outlining all of your rights and options with respect to this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied that you fully and completely understand each matter that she went over with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Reddick, did you go over the plea statement that's been submitted to the court with your client?
I did, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied that she fully and completely understands each matter as it applies to her case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you know of any reason why she not accept her plea?
I have no reasons, Your Honor.
Ma'am, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, I am.
How do you intend to plead?
Guilty.
Has anyone threatened you or coerced you in any manner to force you to plead guilty against your wishes?
Ma'am.
As you stand here today, are you under the influence of any type of intoxicant?
No, ma'am.
Will the state please provide a factual basis?
If this case had proceeded to trial, the facts would have shown that on May 30th of 2020, law enforcement reported to 715 Catherine Street, located in Clayton County. Contact was made with Wanda Keaton, who advised that she and Marvin, M-A-R-V-I-N, Dupree, D-U-P-R-E-E, had gotten into a verbal altercation that turned physical. Bystander Joshua, that's J-O-S-H-U-A, Bangham, B-A-N-G-H-A-M, who stated that the altercation started in the house and led to the driveway. Joshua also had video surveillance of Keaton telling Dupree's mother that she was going to kill Dupree.
All right. Is this a negotiated plea?
Yes, Judge.
What are the terms?
The terms of the plea are 12 months probation, anger management.
So hang on.
Oh, no,
So is she pleading to the lesser included of the terroristic threat? Yeah, it indicated to me that it was the felony. So is it the lesser?
This is going to be disorderly conduct, Judge.
Okay. So let me go back. Do you understand what you were charged with? The state's apparently proceeding on the lesser included disorderly conduct. Do you understand what you were charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead.
The recommendation in this case is credit for time served, Judge. Miss Keaton has been in custody since May 30th of 2020.
All right. Puma will accept your plea. It'll be 12 months credited for time served, no further time. You have 1 year from today's date to file a habeas corpus petition in this matter. You may go back.
Thank you.
All right, 2 things. Number 1, let me create a breakout room with the 2 folks who need to be signed up with probation. I think that we are done otherwise. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that would be my understanding.
Okay.
Your Honor, do you need the public defender's office to remain, or are we excluded?
You guys can be excused. Thanks.
Thank you, Judge.